They saw clearly that this individual was in distress and he was in crisis. And they cared enough to do something about it. This individual was taken to the hospital and an investigation was conducted. At the same time, there were some individuals from another incident that were taken into custody at roughly the same address. The officers working hand in hand were able to put together the fact that the individual they encountered in distress was missing from one of our suburbs and considered an endangered missing. The address they found this individual at coincides with the address of the arrest of several individuals. So during the course of talking to this individual who was in distress, they were able to determine the location was most likely one and the same, that the individuals that were currently detained were responsible in some way, shape, or form for injury and or maltreatment to this victim. So now I'll turn this over to Commander Duffin of the Area North Detective Division for further information.
Thanks, Steve. Commander Kevin Duffin, that's D-U-F-F-I-N. Our detectives, upon being notified by the officers from the 11th District, became involved in the investigation and communicated with the suburb where the subject was missing from. After his treatment at the hospital, he was released, and his parents came into Area North Detective Division. All four offenders, 2 female adults, 2 male adults, 3 of which are Chicago residents. 1 is from Carpentersville. Have given videotape statements, and currently the Cook County State's Attorney's Office is at Area North interviewing the victim and his family, and we anticipate charges in the next 24 hours.
Do you know how the individual got to be down in Chicago?
He is an acquaintance of one of these subjects, and apparently they met out in the suburbs. These subjects then stole a van out in the suburbs and brought him into Chicago.
Kidnapped out in the suburbs?
You know, we're still talking to the victim. It's quite a possibility it is a kidnapping, and that's certainly one of the charges we'll be seeking if it turns out to be that. But he's traumatized by the incident, and it's very tough to communicate with him at this point.
Was he drugged, or he appears inebriated? There's a second video where he clearly does not appear to be, like you said, he's disturbed. Is there any connection that he was possibly injected with something, or was he under the influence of something?
We don't believe, he hasn't said he's under the influence of anything. I mean, obviously there were medical tests done at the hospital. Toxicology will take a few weeks.
Was there some drug connection that brought him in connection with this other individual he knew out in the suburb?
No.
Do you know how long he was with these individuals?
It appears at least 24 hours. We're thinking as long as maybe 48 hours.
Was there a missing person report filed in the north suburbs?
Yes, there was.
Superintendent, do you think that this rises to the level of a hate crime?
We're still investigating it, and if the facts guide us to that in that direction, then we'll certainly charge them appropriately.
Superintendent, can you talk about the uniqueness of this case? Broadcast on Facebook Live, your officers were able to put these pieces together. And did your cyber team work on this? Were you able to use technology in that way? I'm just curious about how that.
This was simply the hard work of some patrolmen that work in the 11th District. And this kind of illustrates how, you know, you hear the narrative that police are backing down and not doing their jobs. This is a perfect example of them doing their jobs. They cared enough when they saw this individual that appeared to be in distress to take the case even further and continue investigating, and it brought us to where we are right now. So I'm very proud of those officers. I'm proud of the detectives working on it.
Can you give us your reaction to just seeing this video and what happened on this?
Have you seen the video? It's sickening. It's sickening. You know, it makes you wonder what would make individuals treat somebody like that. You know, so I've been a cop for 28 years, and I've seen things that you shouldn't see in a lifetime, but it still amazes me how you still see things that you just shouldn't. So I'm not going to say it shocked me, but it was sickening.
I know we said, we heard a lot of things said in the video, directed towards white people, directed towards Donald Trump. Do you guys, what's the reason for this? Have you, in your questioning, been able to determine anything?
You know, although they are adults, they're 18. Kids make stupid decisions. I shouldn't call them kids, they're legally adults, but they're young adults and they make stupid decisions. That certainly will be part of whether or not a hate crime is, if we seek a hate crime, to determine whether or not this is sincere or just stupid ranting and raving.
Did you figure out a motive for this at all?
We have not, no.
You said you knew one of them. How?
They attended a school together in the suburbs.
Were you other people involved that you know of, other adults?
No, these 4 subjects at this time are all we're looking at. Doesn't seem to be that anybody else was involved,
Is
no.
one of the subjects the one who broadcasted, the young lady who broadcast, I know you can't tell me, is the person who broadcast live feed?
Yes.
How extensive were the victim's injuries? I mean, were there broken bones? Was there internal trauma? Can you discuss how extensive that was and how long it was in the hospital?
I don't want to get into his medical condition. He was traumatized fairly good. Like I said, it took most of the night for him to calm down enough to be able to talk to us.
You said somebody went out to get him. Was he aware of that? Did he go with them voluntarily, or did they take him?
It appears he initially went voluntarily with the one subject he knew, and I don't know how the other 3 got involved. Like I said, we're still investigating.
Did they just release him?
Again, we're still investigating. It sounds like they eventually just took his, unbound him and let him go, yeah.
Superintendent, there was another video that surfaced shortly after the election where Donald Trump's name was invoked and a white person was beaten on camera. Have there been more incidents beyond those? And what do you say is
Not that I'm aware of as far as any additional incidents, but I think that, like the commander said, I think some of it is just stupidity. You know, people just ranting about something that they think might make a headline. I don't think that at this point we don't have anything concrete to really point us in that direction, but we'll keep investigating and we'll let the facts guide us on how this concludes. Okay?
Can you guys let us know what suburb he's
Tweeted
from?
about the violence in Chicago. Do you think any of this is connected to the fact that he continues to mention Chicago in speeches and in tweets?
You know, I really can't say what's in the mind of 4 individuals that would do something as sickening as this. Who knows? Who knows? I know that he has mentioned Chicago, but I can't connect that with what these folks did. If you looked at that video, they were just stupidity.
Have those 4 individuals said anything to lead you to believe this was politically motivated?
No.
Pretty good?
Okay, Anthony, sorry. You know what suburb he's from?
Crystal Lake. But the report was made in Streamwood. So you'll have to check with them on that. But he resides in Crystal Lake.
Was this streamed live or just posted?
I don't know if she's basically live. 'Cause when
All right, everybody, it looks like we did lose that feed. That was the end of that press conference there that we just showed you of that man who was tortured in Chicago on Facebook Live. Again, these 4 people have now been arrested. You don't want to see the video if you haven't seen it. It's very graphic. The footage captured on Facebook Live shows this man being beaten and tortured and tied up by some men as they laughed at him and expressed their disgust for President-elect Donald Trump and the man's race. And Chicago police announced today that they had arrested those 4 people in connection with the crime. Again, they streamed this all on Facebook Live, and you could hear even there, the officer saying that the video is just disgusting to see. So very sad story today coming out of Chicago. We're streaming live here on the Fox News Now stream. We got some top stories to take you to. We've been streaming a lot of live events lately. We just showed you Paul Penzone swearing in for the third time of the day. So we've got that. We just showed you that. That was a live event. I want to take you to this right here.